Hey guys, what's up? It's Spartacus here. So I'm going to be releasing a bunch of how-to videos over the next few weeks. Pretty well every deck I know how to play at a very high level. So I'm going to kick it off with one of the decks that people consider really simple to play and that doesn't really involve much strategy. But I think that they're a little wrong, and it's titled the way that people feel about it. Ooh, Midrange Hunter. Um, Not as big of a stigma on Midrange Hunter as there is on Face Hunter, but mid-range Hunter still gets hate from the community. People just say it's just too easy to play. Not a lot of thought. You just play it out. But I disagree. I think there are a fair amount of decisions, and I think that a lot of them lead to winning and losing ultimately. So there's a lot to learn actually from watching, or from there's a lot to learn about playing this deck basically. So here's the list I'm running. Midrange Hunter is basically just um, it's got things like it's got the Houndmasters, Pilot Shredders, two high mains usually. Sometimes it has a boom, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it has a Ragnaros, sometimes it doesn't. You're always going to have a Mad Scientist, and you're probably always going to have Double Freezing Trap usually. Um, I have an explosive trap in here. I have one unleash. You know, it's I got an abusive sergeant here as well. Web spinner, pretty standard stuff. There's going to be a bunch of different like versions, but overall, this is kind of, you know, you can change like 3 or 4 cards, but it's still mid-range hunter. So right now, I think it's the 10th, and I'm at rank 8 or something like that. So not quite as high as I usually am, but still should be reasonable enough for showing how to play mid-range hunter. So mid-range hunter, just going through the matchups, has a lot of very good matchups. It's good against Control Warrior, although when I play Control Warrior, I find maybe it's not as good. But the thing is that like High Main is really difficult for Control Warrior to deal with. It's great against Druid. It's great against Handlock, and it's got like it's pretty good against Patron actually. It's good against Freeze Mage. It's got a lot of good solid matchups, and even the matchups it's bad at, like it's not that great against Face Hunter. Usually the fastest Hunter wins. Um, I'd say it's around 50-50 against Zoo, maybe a little bit favored. So we're gonna just dive into a bunch of matchups here. We'll see what we get, and I'll walk through what we're looking for. So basically, when playing mid-range hunter, along with a lot of face aggressive type of decks, is you have to kind of calculate in how many turns you can win. So you have to set up a board position where you're going to win, and then try to try to see how you can win the fastest. Now, if this is against Handlock, this is an excellent example because Handlock is probably the trickiest deck to play as the mid-range hunter. Um, this hand looks fantastic. So back in the day when Undertaker was around, you basically just hard mulligan for Undertaker or Mad Scientist. That's not the case anymore. Mad Scientist is really the best card. It's just so much tempo, and if you have one in the early game, you're at a big advantage. I was looking at his mulligan to see if he mulliganed away anything. Doesn't look like he did, so he's probably a zoo. And this is actually a curve, and it's just fine. So we're just going to keep this hand, which is actually very nice. Very nice to be able to keep every single card. So against Warlocks, you can look at their mulligan, and depending on what they do, you can see whether, like, if they mulligan a lot of cards, they're probably Handlock, because Handlock is looking for very specific cards. But if they mulligan fewer, it's Zoo, because there are a lot of 1-drops and 2-drops in Zoo, and usually they'll just keep them if they have them. So just on average, Zoo mulligans significantly less cards than Handlock. Okay, so this is a pretty easy play here. We coin out the Knife Juggler. Knife Juggler trades very well with the Voidwalker here. Against most matchups, I'm actually going Mad Scientist first. Knife Juggler has a lot more uses. It's got combos with like Haunted Creeper and things like that. So usually you go Mad Scientist and you try to save the Juggler for when you can get Juggles off, but in this case it was too good to pass up. So here we just play the Mad Scientist. It trades down with the 1-drop, but the secret still pops out, and we have a good turn 3 and turn 4 coming up, so it's fine. Now we can expect him to play something like an Imp Gang boss here. That's the pretty standard 3-drop now. Maybe a 2 and a 1-drop, or maybe just a 2-drop. We'll see. But it's okay to use Mad Scientist like this. Because... Okay, so he's just going to hit face. Now, I have Freezing and Explosive in the deck, so we're not sure exactly what's going to happen with what card's going to pop out. If this is a Misha, I think I'll just run the Mad Scientist in the face. If not, I might trade, especially if it's a Huffer. Okay, so it's a Huffer. I really would like to get a Freezing Trap out here. We have a 50-50 chance. If I can freeze trap that, it'll be great. If not, then that's unfortunate, but let's hope. There we go. So that is kind of sometimes why I like not running Explosive and just running 2 freezings. You guarantee you know what secret's going to come out. But now we have a huge lead. Looks like he's targeting that with what, I wonder? Implosion, I suppose. Okay, 3, average result. Pretty easy here. We just play on curve. As a mid-range hunter, it's just really important to try your best to play on curve. Plan your turns out ahead as well. It's one of those classes where you want to see, oh, what am I doing on 2, 3, 4? You're the aggressive deck, so it's less about reacting and more about being proactive. Okay, so it looks like he might trade in all 3 of these imps here. He does. That web spinner draw last turn was also very big for us, because now we have a turn 5 play into a turn 6 play, which is quite nice. Oh, we also have a Lotheb. I think the web spinner Hellmaster's better. It offers more stats on the board, it's more powerful, and it means that we can get the card from the web spinner sooner, which allows us to plan out our turns even farther. So this is, what are we at here? 10-6 in stats? Oh wait, not 10-6, 7-6 in stats, as opposed to 5-5. Hellmaster is actually an insane card. It's like for 4 mana, it's like a 6-5 with taunt. It's an incredible card. And it's really one of that, along with Savannah Highmane, is really one of the cards that makes mid-range hunter go. Okay, that's not a bad card, actually. The Silverback. Okay. Okay, so we're going to have to make this trade, which is unfortunate. But then we get down the Savannah Highmane, which is just very, very powerful. Incredibly difficult to deal with. Highmane on 6 is very good. So basically with mid-range hunter, especially against a deck like Zoo, you're kind of like fighting for the board until you see a spot where you can start to hit face and reasonably kill them within like 2-3 turns. It's a little annoying. Dr. Boom, very powerful as per usual. Now, my options here are I can play the Houndmaster and the Silverback Patriarch. I can play the Piloted Shredder and the Silverback Patriarch. Houndmaster and Silverback Patriarch allows me to get rid of this thing, or allows me to think that he might trade into it. We just have to hope that the Boombots aren't too bad to us here. Freezing Trap's really bad here as well. Okay, now we put him down to 16. Zoo's gonna keep tapping, so, or like their health naturally gets low, which is why hunters usually do well against them because they have that burst. So yeah, we got rid of the big body, and the Silverback Patriarch is doing well against all these 1 health minions on the board. Let's just hope these Boombots don't do too much. Good. Deface is completely fine with me. Okay, not too bad. I've seen worse. Let's hope these Juggles don't do too much to me as well. They'll probably run it into the 2-2. That's what I would do. So I know one of the cards in his hand is a 5-mana Inkbang Boss, by the way. We're still with that knowledge. So we can see now that he has 6, 7, 8 damage on the board. So even with like Doomguard, he can't kill us next turn. If we run into face, play a Lotheb, hit the hero power. I'm just trying to calculate how quickly we can kill him here. I'm going to hit him in the face here for sure. It's good to be aggressive at this point. Get them scared, not allow him to tap anymore. I'm just going to, again, play on curve. So, Shredder, Haunted Creeper, Button, face. Put him down to 8. He has to get rid of these 2/4 attack things on the board. Hopefully whatever pops out of this isn't going to be that good. He still has the Imp Gang boss, so he's going to have to play it if he has like a Doom Guard that he wants to guarantee to pop out. Let's see here. It's just something I've learned playing Midrange Hunter that you just gotta... Okay, wow. You just gotta be aggressive. The fact that he didn't attack makes me think that I just won. Because he didn't even attack there, so yeah. So being, like, it's tempting to trade sometimes, but if you can just see the end in sight and see that they can't kill you quick enough, then you can just start charging down their face. And that's really important. You have to kind of learn, that's like the finesse part of Midrange Hunter. It's learning when to trade and learning when to go face. That's really what the deck is all about. Learning how to seize tempo, and then from that, do you hit face, when do you trade, etc. Midrange Hunter has significantly less burst than Face Hunter, so you have to kind of keep in mind how many outs you have to kill them. In this deck, I run 2 Eagle Horn Bows, 1 Glaive Zuka, and 2 Kill Commands, and that's pretty well all my burst. Oh, and I have 1 Unleash the Hounds. So you have to kind of say, do I reasonably think I'll draw it? And I hadn't drawn really any of that stuff in this game, so I thought it was a pretty good bet to win there and go aggressive at the end. Okay, so Unleash the Hounds is incredible against Zoo. And it's something I would keep against Zoo. I won't keep these 2 no matter what. He hasn't mulliganed anything so far. And on ladder right now, in general, like, there are a lot of handlocks, there are also a lot of Zoos. I don't know, this is interesting. Mad Scientist is an always keep. I think that this is good enough. Like, I think that it's probably Zoo, because he hasn't mulliganed. Yeah, okay. Sometimes you'll wait, like in tournaments, I'll wait until the clock runs to 0, but okay, good hand here. Very nice. He didn't mulligan anything, so you have to assume he has a 1-drop, right? Or we have the Juggler Unleash combo, which is very powerful. Okay, so he's got the Flame Imp here. And that's fine, because then we will coin out our Mad Scientist. Just another note, in Midrange Hunter, I actually like having the coin, because Midrange Hunter usually only has like 2 or 3 1-drops, so sometimes you just won't get to play anything on 1. Whereas if you have the coin, there's so many 2-drops in the deck, you can guarantee a lot of the time you can coin out a 2-drop into another 2-drop. It just makes the curve much smoother. Okay. These are great cards to have Freezing Trapped, by the way. What are they called? Flame Imps. Fortunately, or unfortunately, did I say fortunately? I can't quite get that done. I needed to play that because there was nothing else to play. If I had used the Owl to freeze that, or to silence that and run that in to try and get a freezing trap, then he could have just bounced the Void Walker back. Okay, good. So he doesn't have a turn 3 play. Yeah, I can expect that trade. But you see how low his health is already? Like, it's pretty interesting. See, this is where having 2 secrets in the deck is very good. Because now I can actually play 2 Mad Scientists at the same time. The question is, do I want to kill command the 1/3, run that in, and set myself up to have a decent board? That is more on curve. I think I'm going to do it. So I won't have a board, but the plan here is that neither will here. This also plays around Implosion, turn 4 Implosion. Oh, I was really hoping for freezing because then if he plays a Void Caller, it'll just get frozen. No, still nothing. So quite nice. Look at his health and oh, that's not good for us. That'll get silenced. We're silencing that. Pretty easy turn right here. Silence that, and then play the Mad Scientist. This way, we get rid of the 4/4 that'll pop out. We play on curve. Again, you can just really see this deck. Like there is a reason why people insult. It's all about playing on curve, at least at the beginning. Hopefully, this owl survives. Then I'll be able to buff it up, and that'll be a little bit off curve, but 5 mana, like effectively, like I'm only going to be using 4, but 5 mana for 6/5, splitting it up, and oh damn. So this is an interesting deck then. This must be more demon-like because, yeah. This isn't a bad spot to unleash. I get to clear. It only gets 2, but, oh yeah, now I'm going to do it. Juggler Unleash, very powerful. We get 4 damage. If we can just take out a few of these as well, that'd be great. If we can take out this, I think we win. Yeah, okay. So, looking like the game is over now. You can see how valuable that Unleash turned out to be. And if I ran 2 Unleashes, I probably wouldn't have kept it, especially since I didn't know this was Zoo. But when only running 1 Unleash, like you can't expect to draw it. So this is really the matchup where Unleash shines. So I'll keep it in my opening hand against Zoo. Probably trying to figure out some way. His deck could run a Hellfire. That's certainly possible. We know that I'm gonna get a freezing trap off of the Mad Scientist now. Also worth noting, like with Mad Scientists, when you're playing against them, they're probably best to be the last thing to kill because they might draw their secrets when you're playing against them. So if you have to choose between a Mad Scientist and another 2/2, usually you'll kill the other 2/2 first. So I would recommend at least. Okay, I think this is just a Hellmaster. Be really aggressive here. Kind of play. Okay, good stuff. Down to 6 health. Really can't be tapping now. And I think this is probably all sewn up. I can't even think of a situation. We have an owl for any sort of big taunt. So if you were to play an Argus here, for example, yeah. Well played. Okay. And while BMing is fun, I usually don't do it. Especially since, who knows, you might run into the same guy again. I don't want to tell him that I have an Abusive Sergeant in my deck. Okay, we'll do 2 more games. Hopefully we see something other than a Zoo. I'll wait like a couple, or like 5 seconds before I queue into my next game. But yeah, Midrange Hunter kind of doing its thing. Doing pretty well. Yeah, okay. Almost got those 500 wins with the Hunter. Kind of one I don't want to get. I don't know if I want a Golden Hunter. Um, the community frowns on Golden Hunters, as it were. But that's okay. Okay, so hopefully we get... I really would like to play against a Handlock. One, because it is favorable for mid-range. I wouldn't say it's favorable for face. Mid-range just has a little more longevity. And Handlock is the hardest. Like, I mean, like, the most strategy involved. Oh, okay, against a Priest. This probably isn't a great matchup. Priests these days, when you do see them on ladder, they're really teched to just crush you, like, aggro. I played Priest to Legend last season, and basically I just made an all-out, like, if you're aggressive, you're not going to beat me deck. And I've seen a lot of them. They have stuff like Death Lords. Really annoying creatures that they buff in the early game, and thus Ironbeak Owl is very good. I like this. So turn 1, Web Spinner, turn 2, Haunted Creeper, and Ironbeak for any sort of crazy minion that they might have. I'm getting really good mulligans right now, but that's what Midrange Hunter does. It just has so many ones and two, or like early game plays that you can expect to get a fairly good start. It usually doesn't whiff. I mean, it can whiff like any deck. You could get 2 high mains and a Dr. Boom, but it's unlikely. So, as expected, anti-aggro deck. Gonna be a challenge to win this probably. But we aren't face hunter luckily, so we do have some more longevity. Savannah High Main can really help out. So if that's a Velen's Chosen, if it's a Death Lord, we'll see. Oh, it's an Acolyte. Okay. I played an Acolyte in my version too. Interesting. Um. Ooh, I like this a lot. The Timberwolf actually allows us to clear the Zombie Chow, and we can set up a freezing trap, which will freeze this 1/3 here, and get us the board effectively. Now, it'll be full of 1/1s, but that's not the worst thing in the world. The other play is to Eelhorn Bow the 1/3 and then run that in, but that just kind of leaves us vulnerable. Fortunately, these Spectral Spiders aren't beasts. If they were, Hunter Creeper would just be just absolutely insane in Hunter. Oh wow, really not respecting the freezing trap. It kind of makes me think he might have a Kazan, because yeah, like I don't. He might have a Kazan. That's kind of scary, actually. Well, if he does, then he does, and that's all I can say. I mean, there's not much I can do if he has one. Um, I could have played the explosive trap and hope he stole that, but then that wipes my board. So I'm expecting a Kazan Mystic here, actually. I didn't want to silence that because then if he runs it in, then I silence something that he's just freezing trapping back to his hand anyway. Oh no, so he's just doing some interesting things here. Okay, weird. Um, let's see. This is tricky. I'm gonna silence something. It'll probably be the 1/7. Silence it, kill the other 1/3, buff something, kill the Northshire Cleric. Nah, then why would I silence that? Okay, let's just kill the 1/3. I got play here. People don't really expect freezing trap or explosive trap in. Oh, of course, you already attacked. What am I doing? What am I doing? So basically, this is a play to protect the freezing trap, um, essentially giving the freezing trap much more value. We also save the owl this way. Okay. And there's a chow. Okay. So I'm gonna just play the high main here. They don't usually run big game hunter. No, I'm gonna. Oh, might he run a Harrison? He would have played it last turn on 5 mana. So if he does, he has to top deck it. He'll probably bounce the zombie chow back. This is a very tough matchup. But like I said, the high main is really where we're going to shine. Okay, so if he doesn't have death, then I'm in pretty good shape. I can punch through the Death Lord, and if he does buff it with like Velen's Chosen, I can silence it. Maybe the Death Lord will suck out a Dr. Boom or something big. Oh, Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, perhaps? What? Oh my goodness, did I just lose? That's insane. Wow. What in the earth kind of deck is that? That's frustrating. Literally nothing I could have done. I mean, the possibilities of him having those two plus the Inner Fire in his hand are extremely small, and it's not something you see on ladder because it's not very viable. Okay, well, that was weird, but sometimes you come across weird decks at these ranks. Okay, let's do one more. I don't know if I've quite been able to demonstrate how, switching, being able to like show, like I'm trying to demonstrate that you just really want to get the tempo, you want to get the board, um, and so far every match I've been in, I've been like contesting the board, but you just really want to get it, and then once you get it, you can make them trade with your minions and you hit face. That's basically the concept of Midrange Hunter. But I haven't quite been able to get the board yet. I was really hoping he only had one Divine Spirit there, then I could have silenced that and it all would have gone downhill for him. Okay, so Patron's kind of like a 50-50 in a way, and Control, slight advantage. So against Patron, Owl's not that great. Like it can do some stuff, but it just gets traded into really easy. So like you can silence an Acolyte, but the Acolyte will trade with it. So Animal Companion is obviously good, but we're really looking for twos and ones, and without twos and ones, I can't afford to keep the Animal Companion. Okay, good. That's decent. 2, 3, 4. No 1. If we drew a Web Spinner here, it'd be great. Nope, but that is a good card to draw. It allows us to kill Acolytes, allows us to be more flexible. Okay. Good stuff. So we're off and moving here. Haunted Creeper is just generally very annoying. Usually they don't want to kill it, but then that's why it's so good, because they don't want to kill it, and then on turn 4 you can Howl Master it. This will probably be an Acolyte. Yes. Okay, and that is why Eaglehorn Bow is so good. Now we could play Misha or Animal Companion and hope to get either a Huffer or a Misha, but I prefer the odds I know. Okay. Hopefully this stays alive so I can Howl Master it. That would be great. He used the coin there, so he might have another Acolyte or something else to play on turn 3. Be very interesting. If he has another Acolyte, I can just save my weapon charge and trade in with the 3/4 here, thus giving myself more resources. Clearly that's something. Battle Rage, maybe? Hmm. Okay, so she'll block. So the question here is whether to attack in with the weapon or save it for like a minion or something. That play there was exceedingly obvious, but like more than piloted Shredder. Just way too good. But now it's like, because otherwise he might be able to shield slam, and I'm not sure what type of warrior this is. I don't want him to be able to shield slam. So hitting him with the face. Thing is that this is just so good at like killing a patron or killing something. If he armors up double shield slams, I guess that's life. I'm not going to play around it. I'm going to keep the weapon and say that this is Patron Warrior. Usually people that use Magni are playing Patron. I know that's weird, but that's like that's just what I found in my experience. Also, a lot of Control Warrior players have been playing Control Warrior for such a long time that this is golden. Okay. So that's cool with me. I'd like to play on curve here, so I'm going to be playing an Animal Companion and a Mad Scientist. Nice. No real merit to changing up the order of this. Now, if he plays a patron and enrages it, then he'll have 4 patrons next turn, and I'll have 2 minions on the board, plus this. So I'll be able to get rid of almost all of them, so I had to save the weapon charge. I could also just go face and say, you know what, I'm going to go aggressive, but I'm going to hedge myself against the patron enrage play. Which is certainly possible. No, that looks like a slam. He'll be probably be running into, what will he be running into? The Huffer. I still have a nice play next turn with Paladin Shredder, Hero Power. Oh no. So he doesn't want to take any face damage. This is great though, because the Deathspite Whirlwind didn't affect any of his minions. He was only able to use it to clear mine, so no patron shenanigans. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay, great. Oh, okay, so he's using an execute. Yeah, I was about to say, it would make no sense. You'd want to attack the Huffer there if you planned on killing. Or, yeah, okay, so I can actually go Animal Companion, Web Spinner, and Hero Power. I like that a little bit more. You just get to play more of your cards. Again, I'm going to save this weapon. I do have a few other weapons in the deck, but we can expect the secret to pop out, and, you know, who knows. Next turn's probably Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom on 7 is usually pretty good. He already used an execute, which is quite nice. So fingers crossed he doesn't have another. Okay, I'll just play Dr. Boom. The Boom bots could do a lot of damage here. Should be quite nice. Maybe he has Patron here? Patron Cruel Taskmaster or something? Thing is that he's at 10 health. These Boom bots can't kill him quite yet, but they're getting close. If I'd actually used my weapon to attack his face there, then I could have threatened lethal, making him perhaps need to armor up. Might have been worth it. It's just that 3 attack is just so good against Patron. Like, just being able to kill patrons and kill, you know, everything in between. Oh, wow. This doesn't look too promising. He must have another execute, right? Yeah, looks like it. That's okay. I mean, it didn't look too promising for him. That's what I meant when I said it doesn't look too promising. I think we're in all right shape here. Although maybe not. I mean, it depends what pops out if we really need a freezing trap. We don't get it. That is not good. Oh, that is not great either. Oh, no. Did we just lose? No, we didn't. The explosive trap actually does work in this situation. It's really interesting, but it does. Now with another weapon, I will hit his face. So the explosive trap is going to trigger killing one of the Throbbings. Throbbings? Darling? I don't know. So thank you, Boombot, for doing that for us, helping us out there. And the other one's going to do a lot of damage. It just is how much damage can it possibly do, especially without, like, he can't actually do any damage to it. He can't put it down to 2 health. Otherwise, it will just die due to the explosive. And great part about having like an explosive in a mid-range deck is that it's just not expected. So there is that. That's interesting. So Really trying to find some answers, I suppose. Okay, so this Kodo is gonna like win us the game here. That's +4 damage. That'll go up to, I don't know. He knows he lost though. 15. I don't even need to do anything. But you can kind of see the power of Patron there, how quick that was. I'll be doing a Patron video later this week. I've been playing a lot of that, and it is a good deck. But we were able to beat it. So, thanks for watching. That's my how to play mid-range hunter video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Hearthstone guides, Hearthstone content. I've been doing card previews, but simply put, too many cards came out too quick, and I was too busy. So there are a lot of different pros out there that are doing card previews. Before they release the expansion, I'm going to take all the cards that we've seen, and I'm just going to go over the most interesting ones and the ones that are going to have the biggest impact on the meta game. So again, thanks for watching. More content coming out later this week, and I will see you guys next time.